Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. G here. Today I am going to be reading you Chapter 9 of Mr. Sunny is Funny. And I decided to wear my sun hat here since we're talking about the beach and my sunglasses too. I'm going to put my sunglasses on my head so I can read a little bit easier. All right, here we go. Chapter 9, Much Ado About Nothing. Me and the guys went back to the boardwalk. We walked past a Chinese fast food restaurant there. Just seeing it made me hungry, but I couldn't get food because I spent the money my mom gave me on saltwater taffy, and I gave most of the taffy to Andrea. Bummer in the summer. What do you want to do? I asked the guys. I don't know, said Ryan. What do you want to do? I don't know, said Michael. What do you want to do? I asked you first, I said. We went back and forth like that for a while. Finally, Neil, the nude kid, suggested we go booger boarding, which made no sense to me. Who wants to put boogers on a board? But then he said he meant boogie boarding, which is completely different and much more fun. The only problem was that we didn't have a boogie board. We could dig a hole, suggested Ryan. Digging holes is cool, said Michael. Maybe we'll find buried treasure, Neil, the new kid, said. Then we can use it to buy some food. We went down to the beach to dig a hole. My friend Billy, who lives around the corner, told me that if you dig a hole deep enough, it will go all the way to China. Hey, I told the guys, if we dig a hole to China, maybe we'll end up near a Chinese restaurant. I bet they'll give us Chinese food. Then we won't even need to find buried treasure, Michael said. Great idea, AJ, said Ryan. That's why I'm in the gifted and talented program at school. The four of us started digging with our hands. I could almost taste the Chinese food we were going to eat once we reached China. Hey, Ryan said, what's the deal with jumbo shrimp? It's either jumbo or it's shrimpy. It can't be both. Yeah, said Michael. And how can we have sweet and sour pork? Either it's sweet or it's sour. What's up with that? Yeah, I said. And how do they know which ribs are the spare ones? Chinese food is weird. We were all digging in the sand when the strangest thing in history of the world happened. Hey, Neil suddenly shouted. There's something down here. What is it? I asked. Buried treasure? No, it's a hand. Ah! We all screamed. And the fingers are moving. Ah! We all screamed. It's the sand monster, I shouted. My sister told me about it. It's a zombie and it eats boys. Run for your lives, shouted Neil. That's when this giant human-shaped creature pushed its way out from under the sand. It stood up. Ah! We all screamed. The sand monster started shaking itself off. And that's when I realized it wasn't a sand monster at all. It was Mr. Granite, that weird guy who swam all the way from Australia. Thanks for digging me up, blokes, said Mr. Granite. I must have dozed off on the beach. I guess some kids covered me up with the sand as a prank. Then he just walked away like that was something completely normal. Mr. Granite sure has a weird way of popping up out of nowhere. Down the beach, we saw that Mr. Sunny had put a big fence around his sandcastle. I guess he was afraid that somebody might damage it before the judging. A bunch of kids were watching him work on the castle, but Andrea wasn't around. "Where's Andrea?" I asked Mr. Sunny. "I cannot talk right now," he replied. "I must have silence with the sand." We found Andrea down by the water, reading one of her Shakespeare books. She looked like she had been crying. "What's your problem?" I asked Andrea. "Mr. Sunny won't talk to me," she said, as she was dabbing her eyes with the tissue. "He always says he needs to be alone with the sand. These words are razors to my wounded heart." See, it's the heartbreaking. This was the unkindest cut of all. "Oh, I am fortune's fool. Alas, I am a woman, friendless, hopeless." That Shakespeare talk is really annoying, but I never saw Andrea cry before. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. That's when I got the greatest gift in the history of the world. I could prove once and for all that I didn't like Andrea. "I know how you can get Mr. Sunny to notice you," I told Andrea. "You should pretend to drown." Oops, sorry. "You should pretend to drown. Mr. Sunny will have to save you." The guys all agreed that I was a genius and I should get the Nobel Prize. That's a prize they give out to people who don't have bells. "It would never work," Andrea said. "I've been taking swimming lessons since I was 3. I'm an excellent swimmer." "Mr. Sunny doesn't know that," I told her. "Just fake it and pretend you can't swim." "But that would be like lying," Andrea said. Andrea doesn't know the first thing about lying. Lying is when you say your dog ate your homework and you don't even have a dog. Pretending to drown isn't lying, I told her. You can't tell a lie if you don't talk, and if you're drowning, you don't talk, except to yell, "Help!" "Actually, drowning people say, 'glub, glub,'" said Michael. "I saw that in a movie once. First, they yell, 'Help,'" said Ryan, "and then they say, 'glub, glub,' as they're drowning." "I don't care what drowning people say," Andrea yelled. "I won't do it." "Shush! What a grouch." "Whoa, what a grouch," he says. Okay, friends, that was the end of chapter 9. I hope that you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.